What's up, Guru Nation? Welcome back to theclinicaltrialsguru.com. Again, it's theclinicaltrialsguru.com. So today's video is going to be for the sites out there, all the research sites, more specifically the startup research sites. So let's say you're someone who just started a research clinic, or more likely you have an idea to start a research clinic. What do you do? And so this is not in response to any questions I've been receiving, which, by the way, if you want to get at me anytime, alright, I would say Snapchat, number one, and all the social links are underneath. Definitely add me on Snapchat or Instagram, okay? Do that right now, actually. Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, but those I take a little longer to respond to. Snapchat and Instagram are almost immediately. And then call or text me, alright? 949-415-6256. So, typically people ask me questions through those channels. However, this video theme / topic really comes from my clients. So we just added a couple of new clients. There's also another potential new client. These are people who have always been interested in clinical research but have never started their own company, and now they are. So first steps, okay, you need a PI. You need a PI. You cannot do research as a research site if you don't have a PI. That's immediate, right? Even when you join us as a client, we will not take you on as a client if you don't have a PI. We will help you find a PI if that's the case, but we don't charge you the same rate that we charge our clients when you already have a PI, right? We charge less because it might take us a while to find a PI. It's not easy, right? So that's number one, right? You gotta find a PI. Now, how do you partner with this PI? There's a number of ways. There's probably dozens that I've personally tried. There's probably a lot more than that. I mean, let your imagination run wild, because there's different ways you can partner with a PI. You can pay them a flat fee based on the study budget you get for the activities they do. That's probably the most black and white, cut and dry method. You'll actually end up paying them more up front that way. And as a startup, sometimes funds are limited. I take that back. As a startup, usually funds are limited initially. So sometimes entrepreneurs partner with physicians and pay them a percentage of the budget. So for every payment we receive, doctor, we're going to cut you a check for 10% of that check that we received every single time we get paid for that study. Now you're going to end up paying more over the long run this way than just paying a flat fee for service, but the value is that you don't have to pay up front and you don't have to spend any of your own money. You're spending the money that you're receiving from the sponsor for work you've already done, so it's a little less risky. Then there's yet other ways to partner. You can give the doctors equity in your company, so you each own the site 50-50 or 60-40 or 70-30 or 80-20, whatever the case may be. You can divvy up shares in your company to give equity to the PI or PIs that you bring on. Okay, so equity's good. I've tried them all. I don't have a favorite. I continue to use various different forms of this. We have over a dozen clients. I think we have like 20 clients now. And then in addition to that, we have 7 sites that we actually own in addition to our clients. And we get to do a lot of experimenting because of that. And for some doctors, one strategy might be more appealing than another. For some business partners or some entrepreneurs, another strategy might work better. You really need to find out what works best for you, and most importantly, find out what works best for the doctor and try to reverse engineer what they want to get out of this relationship and see if it's compatible with what you need from the relationship. And if it is, then good, you guys are a match. If not, then you need to move on and find another PI, okay? Now, that brings me to issue number 2, where many sites, including some of my own, go wrong, sometimes even fail, is they get overly dependent on one PI. So let's say you do all this work, you're a startup site, you go out, you find a doctor okay, thank God I found a doctor. I don't have to worry about that again. Now I can get studies, and then I can get patients, and then I can just repeat this process. Get more studies, this doctor will give me more patients. Well, that's typically a bad strategy because you're putting all your eggs in one basket. So you are essentially depending on that doctor to want to continue doing research. You're hoping that that doctor is actually a good person to work with. Not always the case. You're hoping that the doctor likes you. You're hoping that you like the doctor. You're hoping that the doctor's patients like the doctor. I've seen cases where none of these occur, right? I've seen cases where a doctor gets into research thinking that it's something that it's actually not, and so their expectations are way off versus what actually happened. I've seen other doctors where greed gets in the way, and greed starts telling them, hey, why do I need to partner with this person? I'm the doctor, I'm putting all the risk out there, I'm putting my license on the line. That's like the line they like to use the most is, I'm putting my license on the line, which is not entirely true, but we're not going to get into that in this video. I've seen cases where physicians have a lot of patients because insurance companies keep referring them patients, but the patients don't like the doctor. They don't respect the doctor, and so when the doctor offers them clinical studies, the patients don't want to do it, and there's nothing that research site owner can do. So you don't know a lot of these things going into it. You're sort of flying blind. So you never, I don't care how good things are going, if you only have one doctor, you're putting your whole company at risk, okay? Too many things can go wrong. So yes, you can start with one doctor, and you should, and hopefully everything goes well and you have a long-term relationship with that doctor. But you should never, okay, never rest on your laurels. Find another doctor, right? Find 3, find 4, and then you can start getting into specialties, right? So if you happen to stumble upon a specialty that you like, maybe a certain medical indication or a therapeutic area that appeals to you as a researcher, both from a monetary perspective or just personal interest of yours, start finding specialists in that area. And you can still have your internal medicine, general practice, physicians be the PIs, and then these specialists can be the sub-investigators. They can refer you patients for those studies, and they can do some of the assessments that your family practice physician may not be comfortable doing. All right, so never depend on one doctor. Even if you, now the only time I say this rule is okay to be broken is if you yourself are an MD, a licensed MD, and are the PI, okay? Then you can be dependent on one doctor because that's you, and you know you're not going to abandon yourself, okay? But even then, if you want any type of work-life balance or any type of scalability as far as building your business, you're going to need to find doctors, other physicians, and partner with them on your own, or even just to get referrals from other physicians. So that's the only exception to this rule. Finally, I know it was really popular a couple years ago, maybe a decade ago, to be a site management organization, an SMO. Do not brand yourself as an SMO, especially when you're brand new. You need to, first of all, sponsors don't like SMOs, all right? They got a bad reputation. And some warranted and some unfairly so, because there were good SMOs and there were bad ones. Unfortunately, the bad ones gave the good ones a bad reputation as well. They cut corners. Sometimes they didn't really care about quality of the study data. They just cared more about numbers. So sponsors and CROs naturally tend to shy away from SMOs. So don't label yourself as an SMO, and be practical, okay? So you can run your company with some of the best practices from an SMO, like scaling the contracts and budgets, scaling the study pipeline for your network of sites, but never brand yourself as an SMO. And then certainly you don't want to adopt their bad practices, like the quality control issues that we can get into in other videos. So you can operate however you want, just don't brand yourself as an SMO. Finally, you need to be practical about these things. So if you don't know what you're doing, why would you want to start 3 clinics, right? You don't. I mean, why would you do that? You don't even know how to start 1 clinic yet. So start small, get 1 PI, get a study, enroll patients, get another study for the same PI, enroll patients. By month 6, you should have anywhere from 1 to 3 studies. Okay, by month 12, you should start being profitable if you are enrolling patients in that study, and you're going to depend on the doctor for that. And then after month 12, so you're taking a little bit of a risk that everything's going to work out well with that one doctor. Counterintuitive to what I just said, which is never depend on one doctor. Well, you are going to depend on one doctor when you first start out. But as soon as you can, start looking for another doctor and continue with the current doctor. And then there's different ways you can go about doing that. Do you partner with that doctor under your same company? Do you start a new LLC with that doctor? Do you pay them a fee for service? Do you give them a percentage of the study budget? Do you give them equity in your company? You can do any of those things, okay? That's the beauty of being in business. You can do whatever works for you, whatever works for that doctor, and you can keep repeating it, repeating the proven processes that work, and experimenting with new ones over time, all right? Like I'm doing. So that's what I wanted to tell all you new research site owners or future research site owners. Hopefully this is able to help you out a little bit. Thank you for watching Guru Nation. I appreciate it. As always, add me on Snapchat, ask me questions there, or Instagram. Username is Dan Esfera, just like my YouTube name. Or call or text me, 9494156256. Thank you very much. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.